They say legacies never die, and 20 years after the passing of Bankole Olumide Aluko, SAN, his legacy has proven this to be true. Bankole Olumide Aluko, BOA, was ushered into the world on the 2nd of August 1956, and he lived to become one of the leading voices and changemakers in the Nigerian legal profession, an impeccable orator, and a great husband, father, colleague, and friend.
I think Bankole and I met, I must have been all of 4 years old, possibly. He lived in Ibadan then. His parents used to live in Ibadan. Then his parents moved to Lagos. But he stayed on in Ibadan to finish his primary school. And since then, it's been funny. He's kind of looked out for me like an older brother since then, you know. From that time till when he died 20 years ago.
From being one of the 60 students to gain entrance into the prestigious King's College in 1968, to obtaining a grade 1 in the West African School Certificate Examinations, to not just being another law student in the University of Lagos, but bagging awards and winning prizes both nationally and internationally in academia and sports, Bankole Olumide Aluko was well known for having an all-round excellent and balanced personality.
Bankole was an extremely brilliant person. He worked hard, he played hard. He was what you'd call an all-rounder. He wrote poetry, he acted in plays, he played soccer, he played hockey, he swam, he played the musical instruments, he played the bass, he played the saxophone, he played the trumpet, and so on and so forth. He dressed well, he partied hard, and he was brilliant in his craft. So he was just an extreme all-rounder, somebody to emulate. Of course, everybody has one or two bad spots that you want to avoid. Bankole had his own weaknesses, but all in all, Bankole was an excellent soul.
Bankole Aluko was my good friend. We both belonged to the famous 1978 class of a Nigerian law school that we call the overperforming class. We now call ourselves the diamond class. We actually met when we were students. He at the University of Lagos, where he played football, and I at the University of Ife, where I did athletics. So in one or two Nuga games while we were students, we met. But we eventually ended up in the law school and we became closer friends. And we used to go to parties and picnics at Takwa Bay while we were in law school. We all sat the bar finals together and got called to the bar on the 7th of July 1978, there in Lagos at the Nigerian Law School.
In 1978, he started out his professional career as an associate in the law firm of J.B. Majiagbe & Co., Kano, for his NYSC. He later joined the firm of Messrs. Kehinde Shofola & Co. and after 2 years joined the chambers of Chief F.R.A. Williams, where he became the leading counsel. In 1990, he was invited to join the partnership of Ajumogobia, Okeke and Oyebode, which upon his acceptance became Ajumogobia, Okeke, Oyebode and Aluko.
Odenya Ajumogobia, Chris Okeke and myself set up the law firm Ajumogobia, Okeke and Oyebode. And we ran that firm for many years. Bankole joined us, I think it was in 1990. He had come from Chief Rotin Williams' chambers. We then set up the law firm of Ajumogobia, Okeke, Oyebode and Aluko. Ran that law firm for maybe another 2 years, and essentially the firm split. Ajumogobia and Okeke went set up their own practice, very successful practice, if I may say. Aluko and Oyebode then went off on our own and set up our practice. So that's how we all came together.
In 1993, BOA and Benga Oyebode birthed Aluko and Oyebode.
January 1993. Aluko and Oyebode came into being from the nucleus of Ajumogobia, Okeke and Oyebode. And I happened to be the only person working with him as a legal secretary. till his death. But the people style us as night workers, because we work. I come in the morning like this. Certain occasions, the following morning, that will close, just because to meet the client's demand.
We had a dream to create a great law firm, one that was full-service law firm, did litigation, did corporate work. Bankole was reputed for his excellent litigation skills. So for me, I thought it was particularly important for us to create that practice that people would look up to, people would use as an example. And if there's something I'm happy about is that 20 years after he's passed, that the firm's actually done exactly what it was set out to do. A great law firm, and we've kept the legacy.
It was very exciting working with Bankole. It's not just the fact that he was a brilliant lawyer, right? He was undoubtedly, unquestionably, an extremely brilliant lawyer. It was the class with which he exuded that brilliance. It was also the way he made it fun.
Over the years, he proved his litigation prowess. He became a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators and was an active member of the International Bar Association, whilst handling cases ranging from simple contractual disputes to complex multifaceted commercial, criminal, and constitutional matters. Law flowed in his DNA.
Kole had always been brilliant from school, and he applied that brilliance to the practice of the law.
One of my best memories of Mr. Aluko was actually reading his documents in the float file. I mean, we would read an affidavit of 100 pages, and I would always say, who drafts an affidavit of 100 pages, or who would write a 20-page letter in perfect English? And that was Mr. Aluko for you.
He's the best advocate I've come across. And when I say come across, not only working closely with, but also appearing against in court. I mean, that's my opinion. He was the best advocate.
Bankole Olumide Aluko, BOA as we all fondly call him, was a very hard worker. He was open all hours. His resumption in the office at 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. on any workday, fully suited, was really the beginning of a night run.
He made a lot of new law with his with his advocacy. He wasn't just a lawyer who did a job because he had to do a job. He shaped the law with his advocacy. So those were the reasons why I found it a very exciting experience working with him. There were frustrating moments as well, because Kole's confidence sometimes probably pushed the envelope. I remember one occasion when we were in Abuja, and we were at the Sheraton Hotel in Abuja. We had to go and catch a flight to come back to Lagos, and we were about to miss the flight. And I went to him, and he says to me, "Just tell the pilot I'm coming." And I was, "What's the asterisk? Do you think you are?" That was just my thought process. I didn't say it out loud, but I was like, "Who do you think you are? Tell the pilot you are coming." So yeah, he was that kind of person. He was he could ask for things that you would consider impossible, but that was probably because also he never thought anything was impossible himself.
He was a seasoned litigator to the core and a stickler for perfection. So in 1997, when he achieved the rank of Senior Advocate of Nigeria, it was no surprise to anyone.
For those of us who know how important reaching the pinnacle of your profession is, the very fact that he took silk in 1997 was actually indicative of all that hard work that he had put into the practice, into developing himself as a leader in the profession, and some of the more difficult cases, some of the more impactful cases he had participated in.
BOA was not just committed to work, but also committed to his family and friends.
If anybody knows our story, they know that we were friends since I was about 13. We got married when I was 20, when he was 34 and I was 28. So that's 15 years of friendship. So everything I think about Bankole every day is about our friendship, because that was even longer than the marriage. Okay, he was like my best friend for forever.
The unusual memory I have of my father is when he put me on his BMW motorcycle and we rode from our house in Ikoyi all the way to Ikeja. It was a very pleasant ride. I really enjoyed it. Definitely left an indelible impact on me.
Some of my fondest memories of my dad include spending weekends together, whether that is getting haircuts together or visiting my grandfather or going to a Lebanese DVD rental store to get some DVDs. I always looked forward to hanging out with my dad every Saturday, and it was definitely something I missed.
Many have attested to the fact that his loyalty was second to none. Once you had BOA in your life, you knew you had a solid counsel and friend.
If Kole is your friend, you have a friend. If Kole is your friend, you're sorted. He's going to battle anywhere with you. Anywhere.
The most influential person in my life, apart from my father, and I think I can say that I was privileged to be associated with him as one of the people that he nurtured professionally as a lawyer. I did my NYC in the firm of Aluko and Oyebode. He's been a mentor. He's one of the few people that I know that has been a mentor both when he was alive and even after he has passed.
A lot of the things that I did and the things that I am today are as a result of Bankole. So I did my attachment with Kehinde Shofola and Co. That was where Bankole worked at the time, because of Bankole. I did a master's in law at LSE in London School of Economics, which was where Bankole was. He did his master's there as well. And that was, again, another Bankole influence. I'm talking about the positive influences. There are a lot of negative influences as well that are because of Bankole.
What struck me about Bankole was that he was a very warm, kind, maybe to a fault sometimes, empathetic and brilliant lawyer.
Kole, as he was fondly called by friends, seemed to be larger than life, as there was almost nothing he couldn't do. He played football and several musical instruments. He spoke French and was also a biker, riding long distances on his motorbike across the country and the West African coastline. His zest for life and living can be summed up in the saying, work hard, play hard.
Mr. Aluko was the first person that made me realize that you can work extremely hard and play extremely hard, and you still excel in both.
Kole and his power bike. He had a power bike, and he used to ride across countries in West Africa to watch football.
Professionally in court, I remember occasions when, Mr. Aluko and I would be going to, we have a matter in the Court of Appeal in Benin, and we would be in the office till like 12 midnight. Kole will work overnight. I will go home, go grab, get a shower, and in the morning, we're driving to Benin. Initially, I'll be driving, and Kole will say, you know what, let me drive. And I'll be reading the court processes to him, but I'll be looking at the speedometer. I said, Mr. Aluko, Ejo, let's keep it, let's calm down.
Mr. Aluko is so used to cola nuts, that small cola nuts. There is no place he goes or anytime he comes to the office, if I don't get that thing for him, that is a big problem. There was a day in open court at the Federal High Court. The court was sitting, and it was, as an SAN, they have their role. They always sit in the front. He just looked back and peeped on me at the entrance. The court was so full. He asked them to give me space to come, or to ask me, where's my cola? So it's just like so simple, All he needs, just tell him the truth. And whenever he's working, he's working.
For his excellence, immense contribution to the society, the milestones he achieved in different fields and at various times, his compassion and warmth, his eloquence and intellectual prowess, our world was greatly enriched.
He never discriminated against anybody. He cared both for the high and low.
There was a certain dignity with which my father moved around, particularly with regards to his work. You could feel the gravitas as he was knotting his tie and preparing his suit and getting ready for work every morning. That singular pursuit of excellence which he carried to prepare his cases, as well as defend his clients, is something which I've tried to transfer into my own professional undertakings.
He was just a natural at, his relationship with people. He oozes that natural love. If I'm permitted to say this in Yoruba language, that was Bankole Olumide Aluko.
Indeed, life is not about the length of time you live, but the impact you made. Bankole Olumide Aluko lived a life of great impact, which still resonates powerfully 20 years later.
And I miss Bankole so much. I really honestly do.
I miss his company. I miss his friendship. I miss his counsel. I miss his loyalty.
I miss Bankole very, very much. I miss his calmness. I miss his wisdom. I miss his hard work. I miss his friendliness. I miss his warmth. I miss everything about him. Omoelenio, a real brother.
I miss him for his dedication to the practice of law. I also miss him for his willingness to ensure that the rule of law was upheld and that the judiciary was not brought down in any way.
The success of the firm today as a full-size law firm is based on the foundation on the dispute resolution side that he created and a lot of the lawyers, right, that he brought up. Today, we have 4 senior advocates of Nigeria, and that very foundation which he laid in those senior advocates of today, are the benefits that we're actually enjoying today.
It was a significant loss to the firm, to all of us that knew him personally as friends of his, and particularly because I knew that he still had a lot to give. And maybe not just to the firm, but to the country. His understanding of the legal profession, of what it took, his ethical stance around the law, his love for his society, his wanting to always give back. He always had this penchant for recognizing gaps in society, tender-hearted, kind. And so I think that when you put all of that together, 20 years on, was a significant loss then and remains so today.
If there's one thing I could say to my father, I'll tell him how much I missed him and how I wish we had a lot more time together, and I can only hope and pray that you're proud of who I'm becoming. And it was the honor of my life to be your son.
Finally, if I could say anything to him, it would just be thank you. Thank you for setting the standard of the way I should live my life. And thank you for showing me what it means to be a man. His legacy lives on in the bonds that I have with my uncles, my family members, the colleagues he has, and the people around him, because he was that impactful. He was such a great man who touched everybody around him.
I want to thank everybody, particularly our scheduled keynote speaker. He's somebody that Bankole regarded a lot and was very proud and excited to work with. I want to thank, again, Aluko and Oyebode, under the stewardship of their General Overseer, GO, Mr. Gbenga Oyebode. He has propelled Bankole's name, and indeed the Aluko family's name, to the stratosphere, and I thank you very much. But I want to leave my special thanks for the litigators in Aluko and Oyebode. They have almost called themselves disciples of Bankole Aluko. He's his meticulousness, his attention to detail, the beauty of his written work. I've saved some for my children to see. I thank them very much. They have gone forth and they have made him proud. From 1 SAN to 4 SANs, we thank God. I also want to thank everybody that is here. We appreciate your love. My husband was a truly phenomenal man. His impact continues to grow with each passing generation, and I was utterly, absolutely proud to be his wife. Thank you very much.
BOA is sorely missed and will remain forever in our hearts. An irreplaceable icon.